Assalamu alaikum boys and girls, how are you today? Welcome back to a new lesson with Play and Learn Tajweed with Koko. And today we are going to have a new lesson, but it's a simple one like I promised you last week. And I hope you are getting good at your qalqala, because Koko is really getting good at it, and he keeps all the time practicing his qalqala, plus the other rules he already learned. And as I told you earlier, the only thing that can get you there is practicing now, because you know all the letters, you know how to read them, you know the long vowel, the short vowel, the sukoon, the shadda, you know how to read a word. All what you need is to just read a sentence fluently and apply the Tajweed rules as much as you can. If you can't read with Tajweed, it doesn't mean you don't read the Quran. Still you can read the Quran, okay? But your goal is to be towards perfecting the Tajweed. As I told you, today we're going to have something simple, and it won't take much time. And thank God it has a symbol on top, so whenever you see that symbol, you just apply the rule. It's not a big deal, okay? So let's go to the classroom and see Koko, and he's waiting to learn new rule, okay? Are you ready? Let's go there. Assalamu alaikum, Koko. How are you today? Are you ready for today's new lesson? I bet you are. And also your friends at home and your friends here. Everybody's sitting still. They're waiting to learn about the new rule or the new letters. Today's lesson is about the silent letters. There are sometime in the Quran there are some letters that we don't pronounce them. Okay? Either we don't pronounce them at all, or we pronounce or elongate them only if we are stopping the reading, not in continuing. We ignore them when we continue reading, and we elongate or pronounce them when we stop. The other scenario is either way, stopping or continuing, we're not gonna pronounce them. And these occur with three letters: Alif, Waw, and Ya. Okay? These three letters, sometimes they are pronounced, sometimes are not. So we will see when we don't pronounce them and when we are going to pronounce them. To make your life easier, we have here examples. I'm going to divide it into groups. And that's going to make your life easier. The first group and the second group. Okay? Whenever we see a round circle, I call it a round zero. Okay? On the top of the alif, it's a round zero. On top of the waw or ya. Okay? Pay attention to this circle. It's a round 0 in this group. So this group has a round 0. And this group will have kind of like elongated 0. Not a round, but kind of elongated 0. So you're going to see a 0 like this. Okay, so let me make this more Rex. You're going to see kind of like elongated 0 or a kind of a round 0 on the top of these letters. And we're going to learn about the difference between them. Let me start with the round 0. So it's easy. Whenever I see the small round 0 on alif or waw or ya in a word, even if it was preceded by a fatha or a dhamma for a waw or a kasra for ya, this letter or these are going to be ignored. They are not present. They are just silent. We don't even if you are continuing reading or stopping, in both scenarios, we're going to ignore them in all situations. So I'm going to write here, stop, or continue. What's going to happen? Ignore. They are silent. Okay? They are silent. Example, if you see the word أولئك. Okay? أولئك. So here, I'm not going to say أولئك. The rule is you have a long vowel wow preceded by a dhamma. It is a 2 haraka, أولئك, but that is wrong. Whenever you see the wow with a small round 0 on top of it, means this wow is ignored. Not there. Just ignore it. And you're going to read it as only 1 haraka as a dhamma. أولئك. أولئك. And you know this is the hamza in the same word, so it's going to be a must 4. Okay? No choice. It's 4. أولئك. Okay? Let me see if you have more example. يتلو صحفا. Here, يتلو صحفا. So the alif is going to be ignored if I'm stopping at يتلو or I'm continuing the reading. So I will treat the word يتلو as there is no any alif. So I'm going to say يتلو صحفا or يتلو صحفا and so on. The third example, when I have a ya. When I have a ya, so here I have min naba'i. So I'm not going to say min naba'i. I know it's a long vowel ya, proceed by kasra. It's too hard. Naba'i, no, that's wrong. So I'm going to say min naba'i. من نبأ المرسلين. من نبأ المرسلين. I will read it with one حركة and I will ignore this ya. Okay. Other example. Let me see if I can. بناها Okay, make sure I have them in the right place. Then I switch them. The real sukoon and the first ya, and there's round zero on the second ya. So banaha بأيدي. I'm not going to say بناها بأيدي. No. The first ya has a sukoon, is pronounced. The second ya has a round zero, is ignored. So I'm going to say بناها بأيدي. بناها بأيدي. بناها 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 بأيدي. So it's only one haraka. And so on. So this should be very easy. You're only going to see a small round zero on the top of alif, waw, or ya. You ignore that letter and you only pronounce the letter or the word as a short vowel. Okay? The second kind is when you have an elongated zero on the alif, waw, or ya. There are two situations. If you are continuing reading, or you are stopping at the word. Okay? Either you are continuing reading or you are stopping. So let's give example with both situations. If I say okay. And you have here on the alif, you have that zero I talked about, elongated zero. So the rule is a long vowel alif preceded by fatha is two haraka, ana, right? But I am continuing reading. So how am I going to read it? I'm going to read it as ana. Ana khayrun min. Ana khayrun min. So here only one harf. Okay? If I'm stopping the reading, and I'm gonna say what? Ana. And still you have that zero, that elongated zero. So here I'm going to pronounce it as ana. Same thing. Ana. Ana. So I will elongate if I am stopping. Ana khayrun min. Ana khayrun min. If I am not stopping, if I'm continuing my reading, I'm going to say ana. Ana khayrun min. Ana khayrun min. And so on. Let's show one more example. لكن هو الله ربي. And the round zero on the alif. So here I'm gonna continue reading. I'm gonna say لكن هو الله ربي. لكن هو الله ربي. But I am going to stop. If I'm going to stop, it's going to be and still you have I'm going to be لكن two حركة if I'm stopping. So it's going to be pronounced as okay. لكن هو الله ربي. لكن هو الله ربي. So it's only you have to watch for the zero if it is long zero or it is around zero. If it's around zero, stopping or continuing, ignore. If it's a long zero, continuing, ignore, stopping, pronounce. Okay? So if you are stopping, what are you going to do? Don't ignore. If you are continuing, do what? Ignore. Is that easy? So continue, ignore, stopping, don't ignore. So how I teach my student to remember continuing, it has ignore. Continuing, ignore has two eyes. Okay, two eyes. Continuing, ignore. Stopping, it has a T and an I. I'm gonna don't ignore T and I. T I, T I. So don't has a T, just stop in the stop here, and then there's an I. Ignore. Don't ignore. But here with ignore, you're gonna have two I's. Continuing. Okay, and here is stopping. If you feel this is gonna confuse you, don't use it. But it is always a good idea to relate things to stuff that is really can help you to remember. If you can remember the picture in your eyes, how I made this table, you can make a nicer, bigger one. Here I have to write in big letters so you can see at home. But you can make one medium size and put it in front of you until this row become very easy for you. So that's it for today, my friends. Very short lesson, but you have only to watch for those zeros, either round or elongated. And inshallah, when I finish all the rules or the majority of the rules, I'm going to assign separate lessons for reading. We're gonna have the Quran, big Quran, and you can see when I'm reading, and then we're gonna discuss or do the ijra on every ayah. We're going to remember the rules we learned when we read the Quran, and I'm going to point to you simple things that they cannot be taught in one class. That is, they will be like mentioned maybe in 1 minute, so you don't have to make a class for that. So different shape of the ha, different shape of the hamza on nabra, maybe sometimes it comes on the bottom. So simple things like that, I'm going to point it out. Plus I'm going to show you these when we finish all the rules. We're going to read from the Quran, inshallah, okay? And for now, I leave you with your sweet Tajweed journey. You need to practice only, and don't stop. You have to dedicate 30 minutes in a day now. We started with 10, 15, but now you need to dedicate about 30 minutes in a day, at least, to read your Quran. And when you read, if you can read only 2 ayahs, or 3 ayahs, or maybe half page only, or quarter page, that would be good. But you need to look at what you're reading. try to remember the rules. If you found that is you can't remember the rule, go back to your notes or to the lesson and hear it again, and till you make progress. But we only learn by mistakes. So when you test yourself and don't remember the rule, the only way to perfect your reading is by going back, correcting your mistakes. Okay? For now, I leave you and I say, شوفي أمان الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.